Hey, all right, we're back. I got distracted here. So it's the next day, and what I did, or what I do here, is I've been using two different types of glue for this project. Again, I'm not a bookbinder. I'm just putting these together for friends. So I've tried this glue here, which they tell you not to use. I think they tell you not to use it because it dries real slow, and it does. The other glue I've been using is this one. This is a pH neutral, blah, 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 PVA glue, Elmer's glue, basically. And it works just fine. It dries real fast, believe it or not. I've played with glue my entire career, and I could never get like Elmer's glue to work for anything other than wood. Shockingly enough, it works great with paper. So I used this stuff because I knew I was going to let it sit overnight. In one of the other videos, I showed a book that I made. This one, and quite frankly, up until I abused this thing to the point where I literally just like ripped it in half here, and even ripped in half, the pages don't want to come out. So, but I used this glue, and I used drywall tape, believe it or not, on the inside of this one, and it worked great. But I used this product too, which is Scrim. They got like 10 different names for it, but basically this is just like a linen, woven linen product. It's got some kind of sizing in it, and the sizing works really good. Once you put the glue on it, it just like sucks it right in. The other thing I've been doing is running over to the drill press there and taking a 1/16 inch drill and drilling through the spine of the book here, and basically just sewing the pages in. Now you're supposed to sew this way through each page. Bag that noise, I'm not doing that. I've done it, I can do it. And with these smaller books, actually, with the smaller books here, it's probably something that I absolutely could and should be doing. And these aren't archival. It's a little big. There we go. These are not archival bindings. This isn't a Gutenberg Bible here. This is my shitty story that I got to give paper copies to my friends for. So basically, all I'm doing is running the needle in. And another guy I was watching, he had a really good point, and I'm kind of sticking with his point, which is it doesn't matter what kind of knot you use. Anybody that knows me knows I like knots. I got that from my dad, the Boy Scout. So basically, his theory is it doesn't matter what kind of knot you use because you're gluing the knot anyway. This thread's waxed, so it doesn't like to be knotted up. So I've just been putting like a double square knot / square knot, granny knot in this thing, and then when I glue the spine, then the knot's not coming undone. Say that fast 10 times. Let's see if I can. There we go. So that's basically all I'm doing here, and then I'll do that 3 more times, and then I'll start the camera again. Okay, so I threaded these all together. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in. They're called tip-in or tip. I'm going to tip these pages in. So these are my end pages. Like I said, I'm doing this at kind of everything I do kind of unorthodox. This is just some crappy wannabe cardboard parchment paper. It's like cardstock parchment paper that I got at I don't know, Michael's or Hobby Lobby or I don't know, one of them joints. I got a bunch of different ones. I have a bunch of different ones. This particular paper I like. It's got texture on it. I used it on a couple of the covers for my other books, and tip-in pages, or I forget what the hell you call them, the opening pages. But I have to cut each one of these, and I need 4 of them, so I just went with these. The problem with this stuff is it doesn't like glue. Shocking, right? You know, glue, whatever. So the way I've been doing this was the way I saw a guy, the most Canadian man in the world, do this. Apparently, this is the way it's done. So, let's see here. I'm actually running out of scrap paper, believe it or not. Already printed a bunch of these. And I ruined probably 4 of them. I think all in all I've ruined, like flat out ruined, like 4 books printing them, not to mention the ones that I printed out in the 3-ring binders that nobody wanted. So I just kind of line these up. I think this is kind of stupid to do it this way, but this is the way everybody else seems to be doing it. You know? It would be smart if I had my brush. Now, I got my handy dandy glue bottle here. This doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't have to be perfect, but it just needs to be kind of close. Now this stuff actually, this stuff actually glues, or dries really fast, believe it or not. This is not Elmer's glue. It looks like Elmer's glue. It kind of smells like Elmer's glue and tastes like it, for all of us that like to eat paste when we were kids. Because paste is delicious. That's way too much glue. I'm going to take all that off. I only have a very limited amount of these papers left. So I'm just going to take and wipe that off of there. It's way too much. Way too much. Too much glue is a huge problem with me. It's learning the amount of glue that you need to put on one of these is, it's kind of part of the game here. Now this is a heavier page here, so you just line it up, put it in there like that. Now this is what's actually going to hold the cover on the book, kind of. So what's actually holding the cover on the book is this. So I'll stick that on there like that. Put some parchment paper down because I'm sick of getting glue all over my bench there. I'll lay that down. It looks pretty lined up. I'm going to take this one. Ow, would you look at that? Son of a bitch. Put it on the wrong way. Nope, that one's scrap. We'll use that for something else. Fuck. Getting ahead of myself. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of rushing this book. This particular book, book 4 here, I'm kind of rushing out a little bit. That's why I didn't want to fold right. Luckily, I've got another one of these. I am running low on this fakey parchment paper shit. It's not expensive. So the funny thing about this entire project here is the parts, individual parts of this project is not expensive. You know, you think about, a sheet of paper doesn't cost a lot of money, but a ream of paper, well, you're starting to spend money. I don't like to complain about money. I think it's unbecoming, but yeah, this is definitely, this whole, again, it's one of those things where it doesn't cost, a piece of paper costs, 2 cents. A ream of paper, it's a buddy of mine jokes, he used to be a DJ, and the joke is an album doesn't weigh anything but a whole but a whole milk crate full of them you can hardly pick up. And oops. That's kind of where I'm at with this. So this sticking into here isn't super duper important, other than you definitely want it to be kind of straight. Okay. All right, well, that's fine. Now, just for shits and giggles, I'm just going to put that on there like that, set that like that, set that like that, and wait for that to dry. This actually only takes about 20 minutes to dry. So, and not even that, actually. The glue, the paper sucks the glue up at a shocking rate, believe it or not. So, I mean, literally, I could probably let this sit for like 10 minutes and then come back to it. But I'm gonna let it sit a little longer. Okay, here I am back a couple minutes later. And one of the things, this paper in particular really sucks up the water and gets all wrinkly and shitty, right? So I've been trying to find different ways to do this. This goes back to every one of these is like a test project. So what I've been doing is trying different types of ways to attach the scrim to the end papers here. So this is a piece of clear acetate, this piece of scrap paper. Let's line that up under there. Believe it or not, what I've found that works relatively well so far is this glue stick. If you remember the good old days back when we were kids, this stuff used to come in multi-serving containers. You know, it was like a jar, and then you could just like eat the paste right out with a spoon. And this is the same shit, except it's in stick form. So what I've been doing with it, and I've been going through it like crazy. I actually bought this for my 3D printer. Is to just put a coat of this stuff down. And just press it down. Pull out this scrap piece of paper here, if there's the acetates underneath. Flip it over. Now this one you never see. Interesting, I was one of the guys I watch, he says always treat your glue scrap paper like it's toxic waste, and he's not wrong. Because inevitably you stick the glue side in. Another piece of clear acetate. Slide that in there like that. The glue stick, which I'm running out of. I may have to go get more. Staples sells it. Actually, the best place I found to buy it so far is Target. And just stick that down. Pull this one out, it keeps shutting off. Instead of probably buy a new camera. Now, stick this piece of parchment paper. We're back to the weights. We're back to the board. This is a giant chunk of lead. And that's a dumbbell from the dumbbell. And now I'm going to let that sit for probably half hour, 40 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. And then we'll do the other part of this project. I'm a total dimwit, I forgot. So I had this book is actually one that I folded and printed this morning. And I put in the press here and I flattened it out and then I flipped it over. I meant to show that part, I forgot. Now this is the regular PVA glue that I've been using. So this isn't pressed very tight. I found out that was not a good thing to do. I also have this edge here exposed, which I want the paper to go like that a little bit. This is all hypothetical. Like I said, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just doing. I want to get these out, and I refuse to pay. I don't want to go to like Amazon or something and self-publish these. These are literally for my friends to read. I'm not interested in anything else otherwise. I'm starting to run out of this scrim tape here. So, being cheap, which is probably going to bite me in the balls, but I have another piece of it here. It's an odd size. My books are odd sizes. So, and I was like cutting it on this thing here. So I'm kind of like, what I've been trying to do is get a little bit more than an inch on either side. To give the cover something to grab onto. I've already gone through a quart of glue. Way more than I thought I was ever going to need. Now, this stuff really takes glue really well. I have another product over there that I might switch to, which is like a cloth, but I think that might actually be overkill. So we're gonna stick with this stuff for the time being. I don't want the book so stiff that you can't open it, which is a problem. Which can be a problem. So that's it. So just stick that on there, put a little bit more glue on, because why not? I wish I could say glue is cheap. It's not. This should all glue together. Like I said, this whatever the Scrim's got on it that's a sizing is really it really likes glue. It's probably some kind of starch, like wheat starch or something. But as soon as you put the glue on it, it kind of activates a little. You could probably just use water on this and make it work. Like I said, there's some kind of starch in it that it likes. Put more on there. Now this'll. I don't want to put too much on because I want to get this book together today too. Now, just do that. Should be good. The spine is actually being held together with the glue. The Scrim tape is being used to hold the cover on. You know, glue the cover on, and then I'm drilling it and holding it together. I mean, these things should never come apart unless you abuse them. And any book will disintegrate if you abuse it. And we all know Gideon's Bible is only good to roll joints with when you're in a cheap hotel room. Okay, so there we go. Okay, I kind of know this is stupid, but I'm going to do it anyway. You know, because if you don't know how to put fucking glue on, it is pretty funny though, because I always forget to clear the nozzle, so I always end up with some kind of booger on the end of the glue. So I'm using Super 77. I understand it's not archival, blah 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 blah. And again, this is all funny. This is all fun and games for me and my buddies, for my friends to laugh at me. So I have this is the back cover. This is the front cover of book 4. This is printed in gold silk PLA, which I just ran out of. I got to get more. Of course, they don't have it. And black sparkle. I think the cover came out pretty nice. Now, I printed these. I have to make sure when I print these, my printer is, there's something goofy going on with my printer. So the top surfaces are kind of shitty. I don't know. They're just not turning out the way I want them to. But the bottom face, where it prints on the build plate's coming out fantastic. So just put a coat of this stuff on. This is super sticky stuff, super strong stuff. And I'm just going to let this sit for, actually I let it sit for probably too long, but this shit is so sticky that it ain't ever coming apart. So that's it. Just put that on there and let it sit for a while until it gets tacky. And then I'll go glue it to the end papers. Okay, so this is the back cover of the book, and it's got the adhesive on it. You're supposed to use, you're supposed to spray contact adhesive on both sides. I'm using paper, so I'm kind of rolling the dice here. So the back side doesn't matter, but it does need to be pretty straight. And the one downside of using this type of spray contact cement is once it's down, that's it. It ain't coming off. Trust me, I know. Alright, so I have this roller here. It's an old print roller, actually, from my photography days. Alright, so that's the back cover. Now you get to watch me screw up the front cover because I screw this up 50% of the time. Make sure that's pretty close. And there we go. Alright, so now this folds in this way. And we'll do that. And it is not coming off. Trust me, I've screwed enough of these up to know that once you put this on, it ain't coming off. Eventually it's going to degrade, but it is what it is. So now, just put these two together like that. I like to throw a piece of just plain paper on top of them, because a lot of things transfer. See, I had glue on that one. Toxic waste. I should have tossed it. Throw some weight on it. A buddy of mine, I'm waiting on some lead. From a buddy of mine. You don't need a ton of weight, but you definitely need to weight the stuff down. I'm running out of weights, actually. I've got about 5 different things going on here today. If I a little bit more organized. Alright, I think I'm going to call this video quits for the time being, and then we'll post it and go from there.